What's up, everybody? How are we doing? Is everyone having a great day today? What are people working on? We got some 201 project. We got some 474 homework assignment 0. We got some 475 assignment 0. All these assignment zeros. What is an assignment 0? But if you're in the chat right now, feel free to say, hey, Mewbot should be here. I'm going to re-wake up Mewbot. Mewbot, time to go to sleep. Mewbot, time to wake up. And he crashes the world. Mewbot is always crashing that world. Mewbot, you doing all right, man?
I am Mewbot.
You're so quiet.
I am Mewbot.
Now he's waking up. There we go. There we go. But how's everyone doing? Who all is here? I think we're streaming, right? I think we're live on the internets. Mewbot's awake. Remember to say hey in the chat. Brayden says, sorry, you can't see. Totally all right. Hoot says, hey, I'm working on assignment 0. Mewbot can see the future somehow, and I don't know why. Awesome job of Hoot right there. Which assignment 0? I should name my assignments different stuff. I think 475, right? If you want me to take a look at stuff, and we can kind of share this one around, feel free to send it to me via the Discord, or like, let's take a look at some stuff. We can do some 475 assignment 0. That's probably the more complicated one. Once again, we showed some examples of it during class. I want people to kind of jump into it. I want people to take a look at stuff. We're going to be talking, yep. And feel free to send me what you currently have. I can take a look, start messing around with it a little bit here to see, what you have. This is an assignment that we're just kind of all working. Like, assignment 0 is meant to be an easy assignment. This is meant to be like, you need to get this up and running on your computer. There's even versions online of things that basically do what I'm asking for. Don't go and take something someone created online. Just take it, but you can use it as inspiration. You can see how Shiny apps are created, and you can look at them and be like, okay, I just wanted to do text input. Let me look at this. Let me start. I have nothing yet. So yeah, let's go look at the basics right here. One thing, let's go look at Shiny basics. And so let's go right here. And let's go in. Let's do some Shiny basics. 14570 is totally new kind of assignment and coding to me. Yeah, it's kind of some cool stuff. So Shiny web apps can be created right here. I use the one file. So we're just going to call this Brian app right here. So you see, you get a whole bunch of stuff right here. It gives you this basic app to begin with. You don't have to use this. Hello, I'm starting with analysis on the data in project 1. Yeah. Which part are you working on, Fallon? We'll hop over to that to next. Which part are you working on with the data analysis, or which data set are you working on? We can do that next. You got it. We'll look at this right here. We'll spend a little bit of time on it, maybe 5-10 minutes, and then we'll hop over to that, Fallon. Whichever part you're working on, just let me know, and we'll do that next. So if you're like, hey, I'm working with the diabetes data set or student data set, having trouble with a pie chart, bar chart, histogram, we'll work on that. So lots is going on in this file right now. So if you look at this file, we want to just kind of, like think of it as 2 candy bars. I don't know. I just miss candy bars. You got right here your server candy bar, and let's just take this server and just say nothing inside of it. The server is now blank. Nothing's going on in the server. The server right here, on the way to work. You're on the awesome, Philip. Enjoy work, man. Great stuff right there. And then we got a whole bunch going on inside of here. Now, all these different layouts right here create different layouts. Maybe we should take a look at what this does before we delete it all. It's very similar to the one I was showing you today in class. So I'm working on the diabetes data set. You bet. And then I'm doing a bar chart. You got it. We'll do that here next. Great job, Fallon. Thank you so much. Let's throw some 20 points. So I was showing some more advanced versions of this today, working with this application right here. And if you saw mine, it was doing some more unique stuff. We were changing colors. We had some ggplot objects in here, and that's kind of what you're gonna be working on with groups. And you're not meant to make the most impressive thing in the world, but you're meant to have a little bit of fun, try new things, just change it by little bits right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove out everything. You see here we got 2 sections to this. Let's take a look at what we got going on. So we got here a main panel where the plot is being shown. And then we got a sidebar layout with a sidebar panel. That's what's creating these objects over here. It's like a container for it. We're just saying, like, just think of like baskets, and we're saying, okay, we got this sidebar layout. And then inside of the sidebar layout, and you can see where the sidebar layout ends, the main panel's inside of it also. The sidebar panel, and then this is the slider input. Now, a slider input is what you're seeing right here. This is a slider input, and it's set to a value of 30 to start. That's the level it's set at to start. Has the max of 50, and you can see we can just manipulate this here. We go to 100, which is going to be ridiculous. But now it will have a max of 100 on the slide bar layout, and we can be like 100 bins. So Stat 201, this is some Stat 201 histogram stuff right here. Awesome. We'll do some Mosaic with the retention next. After we'll do the bar chart, then we'll do the Mosaic with the retention, Alex. You got it. Stat 201, do you remember bin widths and how bin widths control the look of a histogram? To where if you go down here to one bin, you get a ridiculous histogram. And if you go right here, you can change the bin widths to all these different things right here. So we just changed this and we're changing these arguments right here. Is this making sense, Braden and Ahood? What's going on right here? How we're just changing different arguments and we have a slide input right here. All of this, so Ahood and Braden, everything right here is inside of the what. And this is important understanding what's going on because it's the what you see of it. Everything right here is inside of the what because this is what you see. Everything right there is the what you see of it. So the slide bar right here that we're seeing and the histogram we are seeing is in the user interface. So you see we get the output of the plot. But where does the plot get created? Where does the plot get created? And this is where people usually get confused because they're like, wait, the plot's being created up here. No, the plot's being displayed up here. Where's the plot being created? Where's all the computations and the creation of the plot being done? Where's the plot being created in the server? So you input stuff into the user interface, and the user interface also shows you things. It shows you output. So just this from way like here, plot output is a way of calling the output object. So you can see down here, it's called dist plot, and that's the object being created right here, the render plot. Render plot is a function that is going to actively check your inputs, and so it needs the curly brackets to actively check. So if you're wondering what the curly brackets are doing, it's just running all this code here actively. So whenever you run something, it actively looks at it and re-renders the plot. So those curly brackets are giving it the ability to look at it. And then right here, the plot output just takes the object you want to plot output. It doesn't need it knows to go to the output section right here. So we have here the name dist plot, and that's stored into the object of the output right there. And then we have inside of here, the dist plot is what's stored. The $sign separates, it's inside of here. And this is the object inside of there. So is it making a little more sense right here? We'll do about 5 more minutes on this. Then we're going to hop over to little 201, do some 201. We'll jump back to this too. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete out all of this. No more plot right there. So this is the computer side of it. Computer's not going to do anything. Let's go here to plot output. I think I can get it to do this. Let's go here hist. I wonder if it'll do it. Let's go here hist 1 through 100. Will it do it? Let's find out. Yeah, it's mad. Text to be written must, let's see if it's mad about that. Little bits. I think it wants the certain object. Oh, it's mad. Output ID. Yeah, it's mad about the plot output. Plot output. Let's just remove that. Take it out. Good. Slider. Yeah, the plot output does not want us. It wants to take a render plot object. So it wants a render plot object in there. So I'm not going to give it a render plot object. We're just removing that. Still works. We've got our containers right here. We've got the slider input. We're just going to remove that. The main panel, we'll worry about that in a second. We could put stuff only in the side panel. If you notice, your side panel ends right here. Your side panel has a slider input. Now, let me pull up a web page right here because there's about 1 billion options to do this. So here, let's go over to the web page and let's say input options for Shiny R. We'll put this in the chat here. Shiny cheat sheet. Good stuff right here. Oh my gosh, the Shiny cheat sheet, which I have posted, is absolutely insane. Sometimes it's a little scary on how much stuff there is. Add control widgets. Yes, this is the site. Okay. This right here, Hood and Braden, is one of the best sites you can ever see. I go to this thing a lot of times. I wish it would not decrease. Yeah, we can't click those. But this right here shows you the different interfaces possible, whether you're using checkboxes, date inputs, text box inputs. So we want a text input right here. So that should be text input, I believe. And so we go down here, adding the widgets, and you can see the different things. This is how this whole interface is created. Yeah, so this is a great page right here. And so if we go to text, here we go. Text input is what we want. I have to check these things too. I can't remember everything I want all of a sudden. Hey, Cliff, good to see you here. So if you look right here, this is in column 3. That's where it's putting it. We don't got to worry about this whole column thing. That's just the way they have their set up in a fluid row, because they're literally creating this object right here with these different rows right here. You can see it's apparently in row 3. Oh, because there's a rows. I don't know the difference between rows and columns anymore. I forget that kind of stuff. That is in the 3rd row right there. So we are going to take this text input object right here. And I just want you to look right here is where it ends, right there. We're going to take this text input object, and you see it says text input, enter text. Then we have to know what the different arguments are. We're going to replace this right here with that. And this right here is my brain just broke for half a second. We need a comma. It's mad about that, right? No. It's mad about this. Let's make sure we get our syntax right. Okay, good. We're inside of, I think we need a parentheses right there. Okay, good. That ends that. That should be good. That should be good. We'll just run it in little bits, and we'll talk about what else it does. That's a header right there. Cool. We got it. We got it in there. We're good. So we want to change that from old faithful geyser data set. Let's remove that. Let's say Brian's cool word applet. There we go. Okay. Brian's cool word applet. Okay. So we've got that in there. We've got can't even think, the function. We got right here text. Now this is what its value is. This is what it's called in the input. So it is input of the text right there. That is input $text is what it'll exist as when we send it down to the server there. So someone can input text right in here. This is just the header right here. If you go to like header 1, I believe it's going to be larger. So this right here is just going to make a larger text input versus header. I think you can go to like header 4. Obviously, you can go to header 3. But that's just going to change the size of this text right here. So that's what this controls right here. You could just put text input and it's going to look like normal text. The value it currently has by default is going to be enter text. And we could also probably remove this and have no default right there. And now let's run it again. And we're just seeing the small little changes. So we can have a default value right there if we want. We don't have to have a default value. We can write whatever we want. But it's important to know this right here is probably the most important thing, is that's where R is seeing the object. This object is going to exist in the input $text. Now, you can see how I'm working with this object down here and other objects. Let's go take a look. Where's my other ones? We need to go down here to the server now. So we're going to go down to our server. That's app.r. I better watch out. I got a billion things open. Ooh, I'm scared to leave it. App ggplotly. Oh, it's Brian app. Here it is right there. So if we look at some of our ones, like the key down here, when we do this right here, now I've got a few different ways of doing this. And then 201, we start in here in about 3-4 minutes, because this will basically cover assignment 0 right here, which my goal is to always help out the classes with the first few assignments. So what we have right here is we have to render the text. We have to create, like when someone inputs something, we're going to go right here to render text. And I've got other stuff in the one I created for this. Do you see right here, this is an output that when someone puts a text input, because I did it a little differently here, then it'll go down here. The text input will go into here. And I had an intro also that they picked from a select out input. And then it'll go back up here because it has to go through the computer. You have to input your text. The computer has to then create a text viewable object. So it's going to render some text for you. And the render text right there is going to be saved into the output $text. So I called mine right here txt. So I'm not kind of overlapping in what things are called. I want to be very careful. So then we're going to text output up here. So let's see if we can keep it all in our head. Good practice right here. We're going to use the render text. We're going to store into the output $text object, or whatever we want to call it. And then we're going to put it back onto the server. And we'll see what happens. We'll do it in steps. So first off, we can use the cheat sheet just in case we need to remember. Let's go back down here. Let's go to Brian app. And so now we're down here in the server. So inside of the server right here, inside the server, we need to go to the render text. And the render text, and this is not, should we put the, It'll actively check it then. It should. Let's go here to render text, and we're going to put in here input $txt. We're going to store this then to output $display text. You can call it whatever you want. It's just something you're naming in position. Now, this should run, but it's not going to do anything really different. Mohammed, good to see you here. It should run. Probably going to crash. Okay, cool. Hello. Why is it not doing anything? I mean, it is. Something's happening down here. It's rendering the text. But who can explain? I hope like 220 will get started on 201. Who can explain why it's not doing anything? So this right here is what's going on right here. And then something's happening down here. Because you don't see this. This happened. This is doing this. It's doing this. But why don't you see it? Can you explain theoretically why you don't see it right now? Like, this is happening. You just don't see it. The UI is not going in the output. Like, it's doing the whole, it's rendering the text. It says, I made this text for you, and you put it in the back. You say, I don't want to look at that text. So we need to go to the UI, and we need to say, bring me that text that we're creating right now. Does that make sense to everybody what's going on? It's doing the text creation for us down here. We just don't see it. So we have to go up here to the text output now. We'll go to the main panel, sure. Just where we're going to display it. And so we can take a look at where we put this and where it matters. So we have a text output object. The text output is by the name display text. This should do it. Fingers crossed. Hopefully it works. Are we going to crash? No crash today. Brian, whoa, there we go. Coding live is a lot of fun because it could crash. You never know. You can see how when you move this around right here, depending on if you use like fluid pages or bootstrapped pages, different sort of pages are going to allow for different sort of things. The main panel, we could even try removing out the main panel right here. Wait, sidebar layout. That's going to leave the sidebar layout. Oh, wait, what are we inside of right now? We're in this side of the side panel. Okay, let's put this inside the side panel. Okay, so now we've put that inside of the side panel. So my guess is when I do this, it's going to appear down here. Yep. Did everyone see the difference right there where I'm putting this? It's inside of the side panel right now, and the side panel is where I input the text. The side panel is also where it's displaying that. So because of it's inside of the side panel portion right here, where previously I had it over here inside the main panel, and you can see the small difference. Now it's going to render the text, or the text output rather, is going to be displayed in the main panel instead of the side panel. So you just kind of have options of where you're putting it in the UI. So this object, Brian, right there, is going to be right there. You know what we could do? Let's have one last little bit of fun with this with our last minute for this. Let me go to randomize a string. There should be a code to randomize strings. Code to randomize string. Is there a code to randomize strings? String generator random. Oh, in R. If I don't type in R, we don't get it. Generate random strings. Nah, that's not going to work. String raid generate random strings in string I. Oh. Yeah, I don't know if that'll work. What I want. They're saying this right here. Let me try this code. Could not find string I, right? Library string I. There we go. There's 5 random strings of length 10. That's not what I want though. String random shuffle. Ooh. Ooh. String I random. Random shuffle. Yes. Gosh, did this code just come about into existence? When did this code come about? Because I've wanted this code. This is the last thing right here. Oh my gosh. So check this out. Like let's just mess with somebody right here. We're going to take this right here. We're going to go down here to the render text input, and we should be able to just go in front of this and go to string I random shuffle. Put the object inside of here because it's a string object, and which means it's words. And there, that goes away. And now we need to load library string I here because we need that loaded up. And let's see if it works. And let's go here. Did it break? It didn't break. Hello. Oh, and it did it backwards, just random. Oh, is it just going backwards? Nope, it's random. It just happened to be we got the backwards. MISSISSIPPI. There you go. Now you're just getting a random whatever. North Carolina. Just naming states. No idea what it's going to say, so I better watch out because it's completely random. So is this making sense right here? 474, how we just had a little bit of fun with this. We're working with this. We're pulling in other arguments and other functions, and we kind of just built it from scratch right here. And we took a container that already existed, acknowledged what the container is doing, going through what the UI does. And so, yeah, just have a little fun with it. Do whatever you want. Just, throw in some extra functions. Be like, hey, I wish you could do this, and start Googling and being like, I didn't know the string I random shuffle, which is exactly what I wanted a function to do. I wanted it to randomly shuffle text, which I've actually looked for multiple times. And I can't believe I just found it that quickly when I've looked for it before. So we took a shiny R function that existed, and then we manipulated it into something we wanted. Let's over to some 201. 201, thank you for waiting so patiently. Let's do it. So I'm hoping that makes a lot more sense right there. 474, excellent work. Really good 20 minutes right there on 474. 201, first question was, it was on Project 1, diabetes data set, doing a bar chart. Let's head over to the diabetes data set. Working with the bar chart. Here it is right here. Let's take a look. And here we go. Some 201 right here, working with the project data. So a bar chart requires what kind of data? 474, 320, 201, calling out to all classes. Bar charts require what kind of data? What kind of data do bar charts require? Up there at the top. You can make a bar chart your favorite pie chart your favorite bars. Bar charts require that you have this kind of data. You must have this kind of data to make a bar chart. If you don't have this kind of data, you're not making a bar chart. Like, what are you doing? What do you need a bar chart? Anyone know? 20 points in the chat. So we need to know what kind of data are we dealing with bar chart? What data is a bar chart? No one knows. I'll throw 20 points out there. No, can't get them out. Does anyone know bar chart? There's the top. No one likes ring charts. That's why it's got the sad face. The ones in green behind me here, which we'll do in Mosaic Plex Nets, it'll be categorical. I'm throwing 40 points out there, going on a limb right there. 40 points. Thank you, Fallon. It'll be categorical. So, like, if you ask someone, like, what's your favorite bar? What's your favorite pie? Those are categories. Like, if I love Oreo pie, Barcade, Knoxville, Yacht Club, great bar right there. Over 21, cool bar. So, favorite bar, favorite pie are categorical questions, like how many people like a certain bar, how many people have a favorite pie of a certain type. So we need categorical variables, and the way Jump displays that is with the red right here. Does that make sense? So the red icons right here are the categorical variables. These are quantitative right here, which represent actual real numbers. So those are real numbers right there. And here's categorical. This one's technically an identifier. So it's still a number, but it's actually an identifier. So because it just identifies the patient ID, patient identifier. So let's go here to make a bar chart to analyze distribution. Analyze distribution. I'm going to pause on the screen here. Under analyze distribution, we're just going to double click a variable of interest to us. And we're going to click OK. Analyze distribution, double click the variable. Here we are. We're going to zoom in a little bit so people can see a little more clearly. And we are right here with a bar chart, but let's put it in horizontal layout by going to the red arrow where all your options are at. Feel free to always click the red arrow, take a look at what it can do. And then we're going to go to stack. And here we are. Does this tell us important information? Most definitely. This tells us that around 2/3, 66.8% of the individuals here did not have diabetes, where 1/3, 33.16%, did have diabetes. That is 262 out of the 392, and 130 who did have it out of the 392. That right there in written form is a perfect answer to this question. You are more than welcome to add on extra things. It does say histogram options, even though this is a bar chart. It's just a jump. It's one of the few changes they really need to make. We can go here to count axis right here, but it is categorical, so it is a bar chart. We can also confirm this by doing it another way. It's a really good graphic right here. Make sure your screenshots are nice and neat. Great graphic right there. Great way to present it. You can also make a bar chart or a pie chart by going over to the graph and then graph builder, graph and then graph builder. With graph and graph builder, you just want to take your variable you're interested in, like diabetes, and drop it over here into this area. A lot of places to put it. You're probably all right to put it on the X or the Y. I just put it in the middle right here. And you can make a bar chart or pie chart by clicking either the bars, and it might say bar if I hover over that. Bar charts, it does say bar. So confirming once again that that is a bar chart right there. Or pie chart. There we go, pie chart. So you can make either one of these by clicking on it, wrong button. And then we need to change it so we can see the numbers. Very important that we can see the numbers on these. So we're going to go here to label, and we'll go to label by value, and the numbers appear. Now, an important thing here also is you need to click done. This is an acceptable graphic for this portion. Make sure your screenshots look something like this. I always like making mine look as nice as possible. Is this making sense right here, Fallon? How to make a screenshot like this right here for like a pie chart or a bar chart? Either's fine. You can do the bar chart. You can do the pie chart. Either one of these is perfectly great to make for your data analysis of, whoa, that's when you shake the graphic. Gotta remember to not do that. There we go. So let me reappear. I'm back. So there we go with that. There we go. Is this making sense right here, Fallon? It's Windows has a weird thing when you shake the graphic. For analysis, we just need to turn in the numbers. Exactly. The point is, in the way an analysis works is you almost pretend someone can't see this graphic. So if I couldn't see the graphic, you wanted to say something like, well, when we analyze the amount of people who have diabetes, we see out of the total, which was 392. I can't see that. I mean, you can. You should probably tell me about that. It's not in this graphic, but you could tell me. Out of the 392 people, there were 262 people who did not have diabetes, and there were 130 who did have diabetes. And you could throw on extra little things like, you know, little salt on top of it right there. You can say like, you know, this is about a 1/3 to 2/3 ratio of people who do have diabetes, 1/3 to people who don't have diabetes. You can also see if you look at the percentages. But yeah, just turning it into words, and always look at the can't think of it, the rubric for how these are graded. Very important. The rubric's going to tell you how I'm going to take off points, and I got a lot of grading to do this weekend after my dental surgery. Fun times. So that's how to do the bar chart right there, and we'll put a quick cut. We'll talk about mosaic plots next. Let's do that quick cut in the video. Next question is about mosaic plots. The question was, I am troubled with the mosaic plot from the retention data set. Let me get the retention data set loaded up, and let's talk about that. So what up, Brian? Finishing my SCM 309 class the other day. Congratulations. Great job right there, Adam. So good to see you. Congratulations. Retention data set. I hope it went well. That sounds like a tough class. I swear, like, there's classes that I'm like, I wonder if I could pass. I don't say that jokingly. Some tough classes people take, especially in the business school. People think like my class is tough, and then I look at like a supply chain class, and I'm like, I guess because it's not my major, because I'm just like, that is tough stuff right there. So congratulations, great work. Hope it went well. So the mosaic plot over here, we're kind of stuck, not in a bad way. The only mosaic plot we can do, so I'm kind of doing everyone's mosaic plot for this data set. The only mosaic plot possible is this right here. Analyze fit y by x. Y is good to see here, Alexis. Y is the only mosaic plot between churn and eBiz. Churn is an industry term means they leave a cell phone contract. This is in the data set telling you what it is. Pivot chart, awesome. Let's go. We'll look at pivot chart next here between donate and age. Yeah, Harry, you got it. We'll do that one next. So why is this one the only one possible to make a mosaic plot with? Why are those two the only ones we can make a mosaic plot with? So look at the variables I've highlighted. I'm showing where I'm going to go to make it. But why are those two variables the only ones I can make a mosaic plot for this data set? For this data set, why are these the only ones I can make a mosaic plot with? Any ideas on why those are the only ones I can make a mosaic plot with? Why are those two variables right there the only ones I can make a mosaic plot with? 20 points in the chat. Who knows? Who knows right here? 20 points in the chat. The only two variables I can make a data set. Boom, Adam right there throwing some knowledge at us right there. And Alexis, great job. Categorical variables, these are the only two categorical variables. So we're going to go to analyze fit y by x. This is a bivariate relationship. You can see that in the graphic right next to me right here. I'm literally pointing at it right here. Mosaic plot is bivariate categorical. Great job, Harry, right there. So this is a bivariate categorical relationship. and we're going to go to fit y by x, which is bivariate relationships. This is univariate. This is bivariate, fit y by x. And we're going to go right here to see if somebody leaves, which is churning. Why do people leave? Maybe eBiz explains it. Just say to yourself, maybe this variable explains why this is happening. No, I can't spell ever, Harry. Don't worry, man. Sorry. I don't know. And so right here we see the mosaic plot and contingency table. And sorry if I got something wrong there. And so here we are. Here's everything right here. And yeah, let me show what I did because I do this so quickly sometimes. The red arrow is where your options are at inside of Jump. So you can always click the red arrow to remove things. You want to remove the total percentage and column percentages. So which group? Just don't even worry about the bottom graphic yet. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about anything. I want you to look at who was more likely to leave, an eBiz, which is the eBiz yes, or a non-eBiz. Like looking at the non-eBiz people versus the eBiz customers, who was more likely to churn yes, the eBiz or the not eBiz? Who was more likely to churn yes, the not eBiz or the eBiz? And you can also find out the values of these by hovering over them. If you hover over it, you can see the percent right here, which is within eBiz. That's that percent right there. That is for customers that were an eBiz customer, the percent that churned. You can hover over right here, and you can find the percent for the non-eBiz. So just visually looking at it, you can be like, oh, we can see the eBiz were more likely to leave. This right here is the marginal display, which is for everybody, 46.4%, which means for all customers. So if you look at the totals down there on the bottom, this is for all customers, what percent were churning. So the percent that churned was 232 out of 500, and that's for all of our customers, which is 46.4%. And we can confirm that right here by hovering again and seeing this. If you really want, you could pin that on your graphic. You go right here, you pin these numbers. You don't have to do this. It's just like if you're like afraid of forgetting your numbers, you could pin them. I wish it would just give the percent. There might be a way to make Jump just say percentages. I don't like how big that is. So now like everyone's gonna do this. Not the end of the world. You're scaring me there. I think I know. I wouldn't do that. Got a rando in the chat. So, what additional questions are there? I think there was a question about so there was additional questions. There are additional questions. What additional questions are there? I think there was about let's go check it out right here. Let's put a cut in the video. And we'll go right here. And let's take a look at that Excel data right here. So there's a question about the pivot charts. We do have some pivot chart stuff up. You're welcome, Alexis. So glad to help out right there. Yep, that's the goal, just kind of walking through the steps of doing it right there. Awesome. Could you do a mosaic pop between age and donation? Is it donate, yes, no? I think you can if it's donate, yes, no. And so if it's donate, yes, no, I think you can do it. But mosaics can only be done between two categorical variables. So some of these data sets are very limited in what they can do. So yeah, if it's categorical, yes. If it's categorical, yes. But if it's quantitative, no. And the way you'll know you've done it is if you get the mosaic plots right there. If you get the mosaic plots. Let's take a look right here. And let's see. The other one was about Excel. The pivot chart between donate and age. Let's go take a look at that. You might have to send it to me because I might need to take a look. Okay. Let's talk about bringing our data over into Excel. Where's that donation data set? Retention. Donation. Donor data set. Okay. Getting the donor data set up. Here we are, got the donor data set up. Let's go take a look at this. And here we go. So here we are with the donor data set right here. With the donor data set, we're going to go over here and we're just going to select all the data. And then we're going to go to edit, copy with column names, copy with column names, copy with column names. That's super important. Now, when we go over here into Excel, we're going to open up a new data sheet, just file new data sheet, and then we're just going to paste. Now, you know you've done this correctly if it pastes with the column names. That's like, if you notice, I was like reiterating a few times, with column names, copy with column names, and then just paste into a new data sheet. So now you've got your stuff in Excel right here. We're good to go. To select all your data, you would want to hit Command or Control A. If you're inside a jump, Command or Control A. Select all the data, copy with column names, and then just paste into Excel. You're good to go. And so you can also export in a bunch of other ways to do it. But as long as you got an Excel, good to go. Let's go here to Insert. Make sure you're using a more recent version of Excel. Older versions of Excel might have a problem. We're going to go to Pivot Table right here. And let's go ahead and create one. So with this pivot table right here, I need to zoom in on this so you can see this. Let me vanish. And let me go over here to... Where is it? Screen view. Here we go. So we can take any variable we want. More tables. Let's go over here to whether or not someone donated. You always pick the value first on donate. And so there we go. Now we're going to divide it up. Let's zoom in on this. So we're displaying whether or not someone donated, and then we're dividing it by if they donated. I'll move this a little bit smaller so we can see everything just right there. And so with this right here, and let me move this just over here. Great. So that's a zoom in of what you're seeing on this. Awesome. And so now you can see I've put here the variable I want to display down here, along with, you know what, it might work even better if I go right here. So you're seeing a zoom in. I don't know. I'm between if I want it right there or where I'm on it. There we go. And so now we're going to go right here, and we could look at something like if someone's a homeowner. That's interesting. Here we are. So now we've got this divided up on if someone donated, the amount of people who donated, yes, no, on did they donate, and if they're a homeowner. So with this, let's go ahead and take a look by adding in a pivot chart. So we need to remove this so you can see. Let's go here to pivot chart, and let's add that in and see what the pivot chart looks like. Now it's going to choose a default layout for us. They're usually pretty good, and it looks about even-ish. It's about even. So here we are with our pivot chart showing us whether or not people donated and if they're a homeowner. So you see this is the donate variable here. Sometimes I don't like it when variables have yes, no. So let's actually go to setting. It's going to get a little crazy right there. And here we go. It's not big differences. You can do so many crazy things with this. I'm just kind of playing with it till I... It's so many crazy things. Let's look at the age. I don't want the sum of age. I want the median of age. So I'm going to the value field setting. Let me show you what I'm doing right here. I'm just having fun making my own pivot chart right here. So I'm going to go to the, not the sum of age, because that's like the adding up everyone's age in these groups. I'm going to go right here and go to value field setting. And in the value field setting, I'm going to change from sum to average age of these individuals. And so with this right here, you can see, wow, I mean, they're all, I mean, this makes sense when you think about donations and stuff. The average age of the individuals, whether they donated or not, generally speaking, we see the people who donated are older. We have an unknown, maybe didn't identify their gender. But this is the way this data is collected. This is real data. And so we have these three groups right here they collected on. We're just working with some real data right here. And you can see right here the values. Now, something I want to point out is these values right here, I'm going to select and hold shift, and then I'm going to delete decimals on these so that way we don't get those crazy decimals. I'm really fine with just reporting age to one decimal place since it's average age. You know, I'm not going to say that I'm like 42.434 or something like that. I'm probably just going to say I'm 42. But if we're doing an average age, I might do it to one decimal. So from here, you're really just in the design phase of this, where on the Mac, you'll have these options over here, and you also have the quick layout. And you can really just go to a quick layout, and you're just one thing short. You're just one axis tile short. On a Mac, it's over here. On the PC, you have that additional option. And then you're just in the filling out phase. And then what really is there to learn from this? Well, you can see right here that generally people, except for unknown, generally people who donated were older. Generally from the female group, the people who donated were older on average. From the male group, people who donated were older on average. And then here it's closer. There's a difference of 0.7. But these are the things you want to highlight in the differences between when we explain the average age of a donor based on whether they donated or not and their gender. So is this making sense right here on, we want to make a good, you want to fill this out. You want to fill out the remaining things right here. I don't want to fill it out completely. You can always increase font sizes or stuff like this, but I want you to kind of go through here and think about how you're going to make this look all nice and pretty. Make it look great. Make an amazing pivot chart that we can look at and be like, wow.
The test isn't until Tuesday. So
That's the wrong button.
Tuesday morning.
Don't listen. Don't listen. That's the boss. There we go. There's the wow. Wrong button on the machine. See, I'm pretty blind, so that helps out right there. What questions are there? We've got open floor for questions. If you're watching right now and you got a question, it's your turn to ask a question, because this is how to make the pivot chart right here. Pivot charts are just practice. I want you to make your own pivot chart. I want you to look at the notes, follow through. So I make the pivot table first. Exactly. You won't, the picture you take, if you fill this out completely, the picture you take will be of this. Technically, you don't need those portions. You could just take a picture of this. Now, you won't include this over here because you have the values down here. It's very important you have the values. So you don't need this over here. Is that making sense? You won't take a picture of that over there. You just need this right here because this has the values. You gotta be careful doing that. I'll close everything down again. So with this right here, you have the values. You have everything you need. You don't need this table anymore because the pivot table is kind of a step to making a pivot chart. You could supply a pivot table, but once you supply a pivot chart and it has a table on it, the pivot table is no longer needed. This is like, well, why would you show the values twice? Also taking a nice good screenshot right here. You can also put these things into Word documents. Like you can take this and go over to your Microsoft Word document, and don't cheat, don't ever cheat, and just drop it into a Microsoft Word document. Now, I believe it's actively connected to the Excel file you created it from. So if we go into here into Excel and we remove this, then due to the active connection it has with it, it is removed. So I'm kind of against the idea of, I like taking screenshots because then it's static, as in it doesn't change. But right now, and I guess you can edit in Word too with all this good stuff right here. You could go into Microsoft Word and do your editing. So there's pros and cons either way. If you get it exactly the way you want it in Excel, you can screenshot it. You could bring it over to Word and work with it a little bit. But if I change this, will it change in Excel? Should be dynamic connection. Hello. And then let's go over to Excel. Nope. Oh, that's interesting. Didn't change. Let's go over here and see if it changed in Word now. Does the dynamic connection only... Oh, that's so weird. I never would have thought. It's interesting how these dynamic connections work. And just the ambiguity of this, the way it's not changing. I know that these will change because I found out firsthand that's the count of phone numbers. I found out firsthand that these will change your graphics. And so I don't like that. I like to do a static image. I just screenshot it and then there's my screenshot. I just find it's way easier. This is not a good graphic right now because what is the count of phone numbers? That really doesn't give us much information. So I wouldn't turn in that one right there. The previous ones I was making were good if you go through and start explaining everything. Well, more questions. If you have more questions, let me know. What questions do you have? What questions do you have? It's so weird. My ear's been so weird today. My ear, my teeth. Dental surgery tomorrow. So office hours will be a little short tomorrow. I'll probably send out reminders about that, but I will be short office hours. Because I'll be Going to the dentist for the second time in 1 week. I thought I had good teeth, but you gotta floss, everyone. Little life advice with Brian. Don't forget to floss and floss properly. Do the thing where you know how to floss. I don't know how to floss. Not that dance thing. I don't know how to dance. What questions are there right now? It's open floor for questions. Start of the class day. 474, we did some stuff at the start, so definitely check out the start of the video. I'm going to be labeling videos later on. Go on my Pokemon walk. Might end early here. We'll see if anyone else has questions. Let me know if you have questions. Great job, Harry, right there. That is, I mean, I don't say that sarcastically. Good for you. That way, when you're getting into your 40s like I am, you don't have cavities and root canals. Ah! Because they showed me. Like, my tooth was fine. My tooth, like, the top of my tooth, A-okay. You got, like, all that, whatever, dentine, whatever that top of that tooth is. They're like, man, top of your tooth looks good. And then they look over here at the side, and they're like, you see that, just part of that image as you can see through? That's why you're in pain. That's the nerve of your tooth down there at the bottom. You see this? The cavity's gone through, and it's hit the nerve. And that's why you're like, ow! And the side of your face is throbbing. You're like, what have you done, man? And I'm like, I don't know. I thought you flossed just so I go boop, boop, boop. No. You need to be like, woo, 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 woo. And I was like, oh. If only someone had told me. I'm sure I was told 100 times. If only someone had told me. I'm not an adult. But no, keep good care of your teeth. Sometimes you find out the hard way. So it'll be hopefully, so 201, sorry if there's a longer delay than I like. I should be caught up on everything this weekend with all the grading, with all the projects. I've got a lot of projects to grade, about 100 projects to grade. If everyone turn it in, and I'll probably get caught up this weekend on all the grading. Weekend's easy time to get caught up. Of course, I'm getting my second COVID shot too, so hopefully that goes well. Like, hopefully I don't have any sort of like headache, tiredness. First one went fine. Second one, we'll see how that goes. We'll hit it. I'm changing colors as I talk. Play one more song here, see if there's more questions. And we're getting another bunny. It's dental surgery, COVID vaccine, and bunny. All at once. Big week. Big week. So everything will be all right. But nah. I'd say it's probably one of the busiest weeks I've had in a while. So we get through. Oh, my green screen's being all weird. We get through. We work hard. We carry on. That side doesn't have enough light, it looks like. Don't look. Well, I'm going to head off here. If you have any questions, let me know before the green screen totally breaks over there. Let's cast a shadow on that. Yeah. Maybe that'll help. Let me try it. Look. Oh, I fixed it. Did I move that light? Good lighting. Helps out. With that, everybody, we'll be back. Be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be shorter office hours. We'll be back. I'll see you then. Bye for now, everyone. Well, let me fix one more thing. This morning, the light was literally coming through, so I can't reach over that far. Been a great day. Cliff, Philip, good to see you. Just getting everything working here. I don't want to reach out of the screen. I'll see everybody later. Excellent work. Let's throw out some points to end the day. But as we like to say here, Puppet Shark, you know what we're going to say? You know what we're going to say, Puppet Shark. We're not going to say yeah. We're going to say our famous line. Bye for now, everyone. Bye.